Welcome to this session on SAP Cloud ALM. My name is Tim Steuer, and together with my colleague Michael.
Hi, Tim.
And Janko.
Hi, Tim.
I will share the story about SAP Cloud ALM and how it helps you to implement and operate your cloud solutions efficiently. SAP Cloud ALM is a brand new cloud-based ALM offering of SAP. It has been built cloud native and open to support our customers moving to the intelligent enterprise. Therefore, it is primarily designed for those customers taking this bold move to go to the intelligent enterprise. It is also designed to support both cloud and hybrid solutions, being a very attractive offering for all of our customers. Our ambition is to support all the components of the intelligent enterprise. And important to you, that certainly also includes SAP S/4HANA. It's an offering that is being made available in the public cloud. It was completely redesigned from scratch. No copy of code or anything happened. We started right from the very beginning on the latest cloud technology available. It is available immediately to you. It's always up to date. We do the updates for you, and you don't even notice except for the cool new stuff coming up. And as we operate it for you, it is also cost efficient for customers, as the fair use rights for SAP Cloud ALM are included with SAP Enterprise Support Cloud Editions. SAP Cloud ALM has two major parts: implementation, going from design to deploy, and operations, starting from detect and going all the way to automate. Now let's take a deeper look at what we offer inside SAP Cloud ALM. Let's start with implementation. Michael, over to you.
Thanks, Tim, for the introduction. So let me take you through what we think the value we provide with Cloud ALM for implementation is. So with Cloud ALM for implementation, we want to give the power back to our customers and partners to drive their implementation projects. Therefore, we want to guide you on all the steps that are necessary, starting with the design of the to-be solution, ending with the deployment to the production system. And as I said, it all starts with onboarding of project members. So you are free to onboard all the members of your project, assign them to roles, and distribute the tasks that have to be done during the implementation project based on the respective roles assigned to the tasks. And the next step is to understand best practices. So which best practices, what are the processes supported by your cloud solution, and also understand which implementation tasks are necessary in order to get your solution running. And then it's about scoping, so determining what is the scope of your implementation project, running fit-to-standard workshops based on the scope that you selected, defining additional requirements, managing the tests going to production, and at the end, of course, managing the successful go-live. So if we look at the capabilities that we have in Cloud ALM for implementation, we always start with processes. So we can consume intelligent enterprise suite processes, so the scenarios like hire to retire, lead to cash, and so on, and also SAP best practice content. And this content is the main driver of your fit-to-standard workshops. And then the next capability that we have is task management. And in task management, we are working with the SAP Activate methodology, deriving all the necessary tasks from the methodology, but automatically adapting it to the scope of your project. And then after task, we come to test management. In testing, we care about all the different areas of testing, starting with manual testing, of course, for user acceptance test, for example, going down to automated tests for regression tests, UI-based tests, and process-based tests. So this means we also integrate external automation tools in the area of test management. And then last, we go to change and deploy. And in change and deploy, we have the capability, first of all, to manage the requirements lifecycle. So coming out of the fit-to-standard workshops, the additional requirements that are captured in the workshops, up to an approval workflow, and then managing, of course, also the successful go-live. So moving consistently transports across all the different cloud solutions from quality to the production system. So having said that, let me now go over and give you a short demo. So here we are on the launchpad of SAP Cloud ALM. And when we look in the area of implementation, we always start with the overview. In the overview, we have a summary of all the entities that are relevant during implementation, starting with giving you an overview of where your project is currently at, what's the current progress of the project, in which phase you are, when the next milestone is due. But more importantly, we also have personalized task lists. So you see in my role here, I'm assigned to 2 tasks, but I can of course switch to looking at all the tasks in the project and there which tasks have to be performed next. The same, we have also a breakdown by status so that you can see how the task distribution by status currently is. We get an overview of the captured requirements in there and the follow-up of these requirements over to the tests which have to be prepared or which are already being prepared. So looking into processes first. If we go in there and select a rollout that we want to look at, we see these are the processes. And in this case, we prepared an example for the hire to retire scenario. So if you look into the value flow for hire to retire, we see how hire to retire is actually implemented in a cloud solution consisting of S/4HANA and SAP SuccessFactors. And from here we can do a drill down and see also the details on how the processes run, starting in SuccessFactors over to EC Payroll, through the master data services for integration and ending up in GRC with the necessary process steps. And using these process models, you can run your fit to standard workshop and determine if there are additional requirements. And if you find additional requirements during the fit to standard workshops, you can of course record them here. Like I prepared here a requirement for adapting an email template to the corporate identity. And by categorizing this requirement and defining the follow-up, you can enhance the task list that we have to all the tasks that are necessary to also implement the additional requirements from your fit to standard workshops. So let's go back and look at the task list. When I look at the task list, I see, of course, first of all the tasks that are necessary, and this includes a task that I generated for the requirement that I have, and I can work with these tasks. So the initial thing that you do here is you assign it to a member of your project to actually implement that task, and that would be done typically by a consultant here. And the tasks that you see in the roadmap are, of course, not only the ones from requirement, but also the ones coming from our standard roadmap and that help you with the implementation. And if I search here, you see that there are also tasks in containing detailed information on how to set up the processes. So this is in a textual form, of course, but we also have accelerators hinting you to best practices, to pre-configuration or to templates that you use during your implementation project. The next thing that we have typically is testing. And if we look at the test preparation and we look at which tests are already prepared in our project, we see that for a process, we have a prepared test. And if I do the drill down in here, I see all the test cases that are relevant for this process to be tested. And in this example, we see here only manual test cases, but of course, we also support going forward automated test cases and the integration of automated testing providers. And if I look into this test case that we have here as an example, I see a detailed description, step by step. How do I need to perform the test? What are the expected results? And this helped then the tester later on to determine if the functionality of the process is fitting the requirements that were determined during the fit to standard workshops. So this is the major functionality that we have in Cloud ALM for implementation. And now I would hand over to Janko to also explain you what operations looks like.
Thank you, Michael. Let me shortly introduce the SAP Cloud ALM for operation part. Michael explained perfectly the implementation part, and we are now responsible to make sure that your hybrid landscape can be operated in a sufficient way. To do so, we provide you with different capabilities with different targets. First of all, we support the classical detect to automate process, meaning making sure that we detect problems on different levels, that we route these problems to the right people, that we give you the opportunities to resolve these problems, and then also to automate the resolution of a problem. So the next time a problem occurs, it is fixed, if possible, automatically. So this is more or less the main process we have in mind. Now, problems can happen at different layers. It could be at user layer, meaning we have a bad user experience, for instance, from a monitoring perspective. It could be on integration layer, meaning messages are somehow disappeared or are broken, message flows are broken. So this we have to figure out, and we have to make sure that this could be fixed. It could be also at business process level. So it could be also that certain business process KPIs indicate that the running business processes are not healthy and some anomalies are happening, which has to be fixed. SAP Cloud ALM for operations has also the clear target to build a bridge between line of business and IT. Why is this so important? Simply because cloud solutions are more and more operated, or at least influenced, by the line of businesses. So appropriately, we need to enforce a good relationship between line of business and IT. So this means if the line of business gets an indication that these business processes are disturbed, then we need to contact in an educated way the IT to get this resolved. So this is basically the targets of SAP Cloud ALM for operations. Now, what are the capabilities we have to consider? On one hand side, we have a full stack monitoring. I explained already user monitoring. We have real user monitoring, synthetic user monitoring. I already explained the integration monitoring to you and business process monitoring. We have also a kind of health monitoring for cloud solutions, which provides you with general health KPIs, as well as a system monitoring for your remaining on-premise footprint. So once an issue is discovered, we have to make sure that it is resolved. Typically, we generate out of the monitoring alerts, and we route these alerts via events to the right source. This means we have the capability to send notifications or to communicate via social media with the right person who has to resolve it, as well as we have the integration to ticket systems. So once the right person is identified, it has to start the root cause analysis. And this we do with different root cause analysis capabilities on business process level and on technical level. So this is summarized under analytics and intelligence. And as said, once the root cause of a certain issue is identified, then we have to automate the resolution. This means the next time this particular issue appears, it should be, if possible, completely automatically resolved. Operation automation is here the capability we are using. And again, it's on one hand side to act reactively in case an alert is happen, and we automate the resolution of the alert, but we can also use it proactively, for instance, to automate regular tasks. I'd like to show you two examples to make a little bit clearer what I mean with all our capabilities. Okay, let me now show you a short demo of SAP Cloud ALM for operations. Let me start with integration monitoring. This is the Launchpad, and this is the operations part of the Launchpad of SAP Cloud ALM. In the integration monitoring, we start now the appropriate application from the Launchpad, and we can now select from here an appropriate scenario, an integration scenario. It's a lead transfer scenario. And in this lead transfer scenario, we have different cloud solutions involved. We have on one hand side involved C4 marketing. We have cloud platform integration involved, as well as cloud for customers. We see here that in C4 marketing, we have an integration problem. We can select this, and we can then go to the AIF message, which lead here to issues. And from here, we can now also navigate to every single message. We see here now the different messages and also the different information collected for the message. So the application data as well as the correlation data, what we call SAP passport. With this information, we can also select the single message flows. So we collect now together for all these involved cloud components, the complete message flow, and we see exactly how it is processed. Due to this issue, we generated also an alert. We see now here the alert again happen at Marketing Cloud. And we see now the details in the alert inbox. In the alert inbox, we have only one alert for all 3 symptoms. And we see that these are certificate issues. And due to the fact that these are certificate issues, it's clear it has to be resolved by IT. So now IT can simply start a workflow. And we have a prepared workflow now toward the certificate issue, which can be selected, which resolves the problem automatically. And we see now here by refreshing in the alert inbox that at the end the issue is resolved. And so we can confirm the alert. Now if we go back to monitoring, then we see, okay, this was working perfectly. However, we still have now an issue here in Cloud for Customers. We select this one and we see here, okay, out of this 3 messages, 2 were processed correctly and 1 failed. The 1 failed, we can analyze in deeper detail. We can again also look in this in deeper detail, can navigate to these single flows. We see now here, yes, at the last component, we have issues. And here below, we have all the related information to this particular issue. And also here we have an alert which is generated in parallel, which can be then selected. We see now here that this is a mapping issue. And a mapping issue cannot be resolved by IT. This has to be resolved by the line of business. Appropriately, we have now to start also a workflow, but this time this workflow is not completely automated, but it has to be processed from a line of business user, and we create an appropriate work item for this line of business user. We see now here in the alert inbox of the line of business user, the appropriate workflow is showing up, this resolve mapping error issue or work item. And here's now a detailed description what has to be done to resolve this business problem. So the business user is now following the steps, and once this is done, he restarts the lead transfer once again. And then we go back to the integration monitoring, and we refresh here also the alert inbox, and we see now also this issue is resolved. We can now also confirm the alert. And if we now go back to the monitoring, then we see also here now this lead transfer process is finished, everything is green, and we are in a good shape. So this is a scenario executed by IT. However, as I said already, we address IT as well as business users. So we have also a dedicated business process monitoring, where we collect business process KPIs on one hand side and business documents on the other hand side. So this means we like to be capable, based on the business process monitoring, to understand whether the business processes are running healthy or not so healthy. We see now here the end-to-end processes. So we have here the lead to cash process, source to pay, design to operate, so following the SAP Intelligence Suite. And from here we can now navigate to additional tiles, to sub-processes as the order to cash process, or then also the managed customer order process, down to the single business process KPIs. And we see here, for instance, now we have the sales document items created, as well as the sales documents with credit block. And from this one, I can now go in this. I can now filter for my sales organization. And then I see here in this table that I have for my customer now certain deliveries which are due for tomorrow. So they have to be delivered. So somehow I have now to make sure that they are delivered. So I have to find the root cause why they are not delivered right in time. And now I can look in the sales documents with credit block, and I see here now exactly this is due to the fact that we have a credit check here executed, which hinders more or less that the delivery is triggered. And with this information, I can now generate a work item, send it to my colleague from financial, ask them to evaluate the situation and confirm that I can remove this credit check, a credit block, and deliver the fix. With this information and with this, I would like to hand over back to Tim.
Thank you, Janko. I bet you can't wait to get SAP Cloud ALM. So this is how it will work. Going forward, all customers with a cloud subscription will automatically be entitled to get SAP Cloud ALM. The entitlement will be generated automatically, and you can get SAP Cloud ALM through the SAP One Support Launchpad. Your SAP Support Launchpad administrators are automatically authorized to launch the SAP Cloud ALM request application. In the request application, you provide some minimal input, and typically the SAP Cloud ALM tenant is available within an hour. Examples that I've seen personally so far were significantly less than an hour. You review some important information about the product, and then you're ready to onboard all your SAP Cloud ALM users. We are right now still in a gated approach in early adopter care, so the tile is not yet available. However, we plan to be finished with early adopter care in September, and then your SAP Cloud ALM will be available through the SAP One Support Launchpad. And here is a little screenshot of what customers see going forward. So let me summarize. SAP Cloud ALM is the answer to burning questions of our customers, to reduce cost of implementation, to reduce cost of operations for the intelligent enterprise, including the management, the active management of cloud solutions for both implementation and for operations. Don't forget, operations still remains relevant. And as we learned from Janko, business users are more involved than ever before. You already own SAP Cloud ALM with your cloud subscription. You just need to go ahead and start using it. I hope that I will see some of you soon to learn from you how you like SAP Cloud ALM, how you experience SAP Cloud ALM. Until we meet again, thank you very much for attending this presentation and enjoy SAP Cloud ALM.